Hi, welcome to Senior Moments Successful Aging. I'm your host, Mary Beals-Luedtka. I'm the Area Agency on Aging Director with NACOG, and you can reach us toll-free at 877-521-3500. This show is co-sponsored by the Division of Lifelong Learning at Yavapai College. We are co-produced by Connie Del Castillo, and she's with Yavapai College, and her number is 928-717-7755. And Allie Bateman with the Area Agency on Aging, and you can reach her through that toll-free number, once again, 877-521-3500. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call. So, today I'm welcoming Bob Huck and Jim Tilley. Welcome, both of you.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So you're from the Kiwanis Club.
That's right.
Right, the Kiwanis in Prescott, Arizona. So I want to start out a little bit. Let's start with you, Jim. So where you come from and how long have you been here?
I'm almost a lifelong Arizonan. Came to Arizona in 1956.
Oh my gosh,
and
yeah.
I've lived in Prescott for 40 years, more or less.
So.
And had a successful business here and enjoy giving a little bit back through the Kiwanis Club.
Very nice. And you were in the veterinarian business?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a lot of giving too, to our furry family members.
Yes.
And Bob Huck, welcome.
Yes,
and
thank
you
you
are from?
I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona.
Whoa.
I am a native Arizonan. Lived here most of my life. I spent some time in Texas and Hawaii and Australia.
Oh, nice.
And I've been in Prescott for about 39 years or something, and been a member of the Kiwanis Club for 30 years, and it's been a great experience in my life.
So, let's talk a little bit about the history of the Kiwanis, because, there's a lot of different service clubs out there, and not all of us know the difference. So maybe a little bit of history of the Kiwanis itself and what is it about?
Our club was the third Kiwanis Club established in Arizona back in 1924 from the Phoenix Club, the Valley of the Sun Club, I believe. Mm-hmm. And we have a rich tradition in our community of giving back for all of those years. And we are very proud to have a number of important traditions in groups that we support and in the way that we raise our money to give back to the community.
So, so how do you join the Kiwanis Club? I'm just curious.
Well, it's available for just about anybody, men and women. We have people of all ages and both genders, and we have people who are working people and retired people. Fun. And you come and you say that I want to learn about it, and I'm interested in giving back something to the community and providing some service, and we talk to you, and I'm happy to welcome you.
That sounds like fun to me.
Another very important thing, though, if you decide to join the Kiwanis Club, you need to be ready to have some fun.
Oh, darn. So, speaking of fun, I know one of the things you do a lot of, it's work too, but you have an auction every year.
We do. This current year has been our 70th auction. We've been doing that for a long time. The auction first began on local AM radio, and 70 years ago, and it has gone from raising just a few $100s to now we raise in excess of $175,000 each year.
That's excellent.
And
it's a big chunk, and
it is.
We hear the stories about in the old days. This was more of a rural community 70 years ago, of course, and some of the things that were auctioned off were live chickens or a dozen eggs, because one of the members of the club raised chickens, Jim, isn't that the story?
Yes.
And
yes.
Cowboy boots and things like that. And now we don't do live animals anymore, but we have articles of clothing and restaurant certificates to all the local restaurants, and travel where you can go to hotels, and toys and games and just about furniture for your home, just about anything you can imagine. Yeah.
So everything that you auction off, you try to get donated?
It is
right.
donated.
Okay.
We have over 1,000 donors.
Wow.
Most of them local, although we do receive donations from out-of-town hotels, airlines, etc.
Very nice.
And one of the things that we're most proud of is that every single item is donated. We don't pay for any of them, and we give the donors recognition on the air for having given to the auction, and every single penny, as Bob and I have said on the air so many times, every single penny that the folks out watching the auction call in and bid goes directly to our kids' programs. All of our overhead, which is very, very small, is taken care of by a handful of sponsors the sponsor money actually exceeds the costs, and a lot of the sponsor money ends up going to our public service effort as well. So, and on top of that, we do not have one single paid employee. It is probably the most lucrative charity in town as far as what percentage of the money that comes in goes right back out and stays right here.
And that's really important for folks to know that, because I know that's been an issue over the years. It's like, where's my money really going? And that's nice to know. So when you do the auction, when it does happen, it's usually every year?
We do it every year. As Jim said, this will be this has been our 70th year of the auction.
Okay.
We are on television 10 nights. It's 5 nights a week for 2 weeks and 3 hours a night. So it's 30 hours of auction. In each of our 3-hour nights, we sell about 200 items. So about 2,000 items altogether through the 2-week period. And as Jim said, it's $170,000, $180,000 of net or of gross proceeds that we bring in through the auction. A lot of that is the money that people bid on the auction. We have a phone bank, and there's a number to call, 445-8700, and people call up, and we have phone operators, and they say, I want to bid on a certain item, and here's the item number, and here's my bid, $50 or something. And all that's entered into a computer, and the computer sorts it all out, and we figure out who the high bidder is, and after a given amount of time, we sell that item to that person. They come in the next day or later in the week and pick it up, give us the money, and off we go.
How fun. Now, what channel are you on?
We are on the Community Access channel.
Okay, you're on
Prescott
this channel.
Media Center, channel
Excellent.
64. This
Okay.
very channel that folks are watching us on
All
right
right,
now.
I like that. So we know we can watch
And
that every
you know,
day.
one of the things that is either a plus or a minus is that Bob and I do a lot of the emceeing. It's unrehearsed live television by rank amateurs. So it's worth watching just to see what
Sounds
we
like
might
me right here.
see what we might do.
How fun. I bet it's a fun thing
Yeah,
to watch.
it is
Well,
a
I'm going to
fun
have to
thing.
watch for that, because I think that would be fun, and it goes to a great cause. And it's nice, again, it's nice to know that you're not paying anything for all those items, and it goes right back to the kiddie programs. Speaking of the kiddie programs, you know, let's talk about where some of the money goes that you bring in from the auction.
Yeah, Jim, I think you've got a list of, I mean, there are dozens. We couldn't go through them all. It would take too
Yeah.
much time. But Jim, I think you've got a list of some of the major recipients.
This is just one sheet of paper, single spaced, and I've just highlighted 7 or
The
8
big
of them.
okay.
We were instrumental years ago in helping to fund the swimming pool at the YMCA. We're very proud of that effort, as well as most recently the new playground out in Pioneer Park called Kayla's Hands, out of respect for Kayla Mueller, who was a wonderful member of our community and a wonderful giver in her own right.
Yes.
As well, the Kitty Parade, which takes place during the Frontier Days celebration each year, we mentioned a little earlier, has been going on for 77 years. The Kitty Corner out at the zoo was funded entirely by us. We also support Prescott Shop with a Cop program, the Launchpad Teen Center, the Christmas lighting at the courthouse, lots of programs for Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and also in this past year, a basketball court and scholarships for the Boys and the Girls Club. But one of our biggest one of the biggest things that we support is an item that the club owns out toward Groom Creek, and Bob would like to talk to you about our camp, I believe.
Well, we have a camp out in Groom Creek. I think it's 19 acres, isn't it, Jim? And we've got a chalet building there where people sleep, and we've got a bunkhouse building and a shower house and some other outbuildings. Beautiful area in the pines, and there's barbecue facilities and campfire facilities. And we use the camp for various purposes. Some nonprofit organizations want to have a meeting out there or an overnight celebration, and that will allow them to use the camp for that. We also rent it out to families for families reunions, or perhaps for a church function or a corporate retreat type of gathering. And it's a wonderful facility out there. We don't do the meal preparation and all that. It's kind of a do-it-yourself thing, but we supply the facility, and it's well equipped, and so we do put a lot of money into our camp. And it was primarily created for the use of the Girl Scouts, and the Girl Scouts still are our preferred tenant. I mean, whenever they need it, we try to make it available for the Girl Scouts. But the Boy Scouts and the Prescott High School football team and the church group and this group and that group have all used it over the years, and we love having it available for us to make available for these groups.
So how many folks can stay there at one time? Good question,
in the
right?
Main, in the
I
main
stumped
building,
you.
there are 24 beds in the main building, and now we have a second building.
Okay.
24,
24,
I would
30.
say probably 50 or 60
50 or
total.
60, that's really
Yeah.
big. Well, we have a
And
video on that.
We have tent pads as well.
Okay,
So-
so you could bring tents out. That's always good
Yeah.
when you're a Girl
Yeah,
Scout.
and it's
I was a junior cadet myself all
very
the way
good.
through high school.
Uh-huh.
So I have a soft spot for the Girl Scouts. So we do have a video on
We
the
do, and
camp.
Bob, forgive me if you
Yeah.
mentioned this, but one of the things that we're proud of as well with the camp is that we make that available at no charge to local youth groups.
See, that's wonderful. What a great asset that we have, and what a beautiful area we live in. So the
really
camp has
is.
got to be beautiful,
And
I'm
it's-
sure. It's in the trees and
Right,
yes.
it's in the tall pines, and it's the kind of thing that's nice that it's set aside and will be there for generations, and
generations to come.
it's not going to get built upon. We're not going to sell it for a subdivision or anything like that. It will be retained as our camp in the pines.
nice. The Camp in the Pines. So let's take a look at the Camp in the Pines. We have a video on it. So
Bradshaw Pines Camp is owned and operated by the Prescott Kiwanis Club. As part of our outreach to the kids of our communities, we're proud to make this facility available free of charge to deserving youth groups. The camp sits on beautiful acreage in the tall pines of Groom Creek. The facilities at Bradshaw Pines include a dormitory, which sleeps 24 campers, a covered outdoor ramada, full kitchen, dining room, basketball and volleyball courts, and our new multi-purpose recreational building you see here while under construction last year. We are delighted that hundreds of kids enjoyed our camp last year. And did you know that when Bradshaw Pines isn't booked, you can rent it for weddings, family reunions, or just to get away? Our camp is just one reason to thank you for supporting the auction.
Isn't that a cool video that we have of our camp?
yes, it is.
And this past year, we had a young man, Cameron Weber, do his Eagle Scout project out there.
Nice.
He refurbished our well house, weatherproofed it, made it bulletproof for our winter weather that we have. Bradshaw Pines Camp, we're very proud of it.
Very nice. So that's the name of it.
That's the name of the Bradshaw Pine Camps and camp. And as Jim said, an Eagle Scout just did a big project for us. You know, Jim, that reminds me, another Eagle Scout achieved his designation by working with us on a project at the Y, where he got new flooring for the gymnastics area, where they need a special cushion flooring for the gymnasts and the tumblers and so on. And he spearheaded a project with our financial help to accomplish this whole project of redoing the whole flooring for the gymnastics building at the Y. So it's another example where we've partnered with the community, and it's especially neat that it's young people in the community giving back too. So we're always happy to see that.
Yeah, because you know that you start that young and then that becomes instilled in them for their life. You know, so how, I mean, you're talking about all these projects, you must have a very large membership, it seems like, for volunteers for the Kiwanis.
Yeah, I think our current membership's about 80 thereabouts,
Okay.
and so it's relatively large for a service club.
Yeah.
We have people kind of coming and going all the time. There's a few of us. There's several of us that have been around for decades, but there's some coming and going. And you don't have to be a member of long-standing in this community, and you don't have to feel, well, if I'm a new guy, I'm not going to blend in well with guys that have been there for 30 years. That's not the case at all. We have wonderful new members that have come, and we welcome them with open arms.
And that's good to know, because a lot of times folks are looking for, okay, I'm new in town, where do I go? Where would I spend my time? So how would they get a hold of you to ask more questions and become a member?
They can call our office at 445-8700.
Okay.
But more importantly, we're pretty informal. We meet at 12:10 every Thursday at the St. Michael Hotel for lunch.
Okay.
And most Thursdays we have a speaker, a program as well. And, you know, Bob Huck will buy the lunch of anyone who shows up to have lunch. And if more than one show up, I'll buy the second.
There you go.
But no, seriously, we welcome guests all the time just to see what it's all about. We offer a significant range of ages of folks. We have very young folks who are still having children in elementary school, and we have dinosaurs like Bob and myself. But it's a fun group. It's men and women. We don't have rigid attendance requirements. We don't wear funny hats. It's just a fun group.
But we could wear funny hats if we wanted, right? I'm a hat person. No, I'm just kidding.
If you come to our meeting, we'll let you wear a funny hat.
Okay, thanks. So your meetings are around that lunch.
Yes.
You know, and give me some examples of some of the speakers that you have.
Well, it's a wide range of speakers. We have people from city government and county government once in a while, and we have people from some of the agencies we support, maybe the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA. We have people that talk about things of general interest, whether it's a water situation around town. We try to make it informative, and often we have very interesting programs. Sometimes they're more lighthearted, and sometimes they're pretty serious subject matter.
You got to mix it up a little bit, though.
Absolutely.
You got to mix it up. I know one thing that you're very visible for in the community, too, and you mentioned it briefly when you were talking about some of the projects you did, and that was the Kitty Parade. So, and that happens during Frontier Days?
Yes.
Which is one of my favorite times of year. I love July
Oh, yeah.
4th, and I love the rodeo. And so is it with the rodeo parade on a separate day from the rodeo parade?
It's on the Friday before the rodeo parade.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
It's the Friday during the Frontier Days celebration each year,
How
which may or may not be on the 4th of July.
So we have a video of the Kitty Parade, too, that I want to
yeah.
see.
Yeah, the Kitty Parade is right downtown, as you can see. It goes around the courthouse plaza. It starts at the corner of Goodwin and Cortez Street. The kids all show up around 8 o'clock or something like that, and you don't have to pre-register anything. We have different categories. Before the Kitty Parade, we send out flyers to put on in the various schools and churches and youth groups around town that invite people to come down. We have prizes for the youngest cowboy and cowgirl, and we have prizes for the most patriotic, and prizes for, here's the wagon with little kids in there. You can see that some of the kids are just tiny babies in there and toddlers.
One of the prizes is for the youngest kid in the parade.
Youngest
You
kid,
get one-
the
adorable.
youngest cowboy. It's interesting. Some of the kids that march in our parade now or participate in the Kitty Parade, some of them, their parents and even their grandparents participated in the Kitty Parade 30, 50, 60 years ago. This, I think this year is our 77th Kitty Parade, so this has become a thing that spanned generations. And many people in our town really look forward to this event. There's lots of people lining the street to watch the Kitty Parade, not just the parents and grandparents and relatives. It's just such a great part of small town Prescott, and it's a wonderful event.
And every participant gets an ice cream sandwich at the end when we are presenting the awards. Every single participant gets a souvenir for having been in the parade, whether they get a ribbon for their costume or not, and there's no cost.
Now, you were talking about you gave away some ice cream sandwiches, like
Yes.
a lot of them last year.
We upped the number last year, and we still ran out,
Oh my gosh.
and that number was 1,000.
1,000 ice cream sandwiches.
1,000 kids, not counting the Kiwanis members who snuck an ice cream sandwich before the kids got them.
But it's so
it's a
cute,
lot of
so
people
adorable,
down there,
so
yeah.
adorable. I'm going to have to put that on my list because I do a lot of different things during the Frontier Days, and I have not gone to the Kitty
wow,
Parade
You're
before.
missing
It's
out.
a lot
It's
of
a
fun.
great
I'm
event.
missing
It's a
out. I think
wonderful
the
event.
smartest kids are the ones that are riding in the wagons or on the wheeled.
Yeah, we have all kinds
It could be
of
a long walk around that square for the little tiny ones,
Yeah.
but it looks like so much fun.
And some of the kids are very creative and quite elaborate with their costumes, but you don't have to be. If you just want to go down there in a cowboy hat and cowboy boots, that's fine. It's not about how grand your costume can be. It's about being a part of this deal.
Being a part of this community.
That's right.
That's a big
It's a
time
real
for us.
Prescott thing.
Yep, it
And
is.
we have people that bring their kids in from out of town. We know of families that come up from Phoenix because they want to participate in the Kitty Parade and Flagstaff and other communities. So it's really quite an amazing event.
I bet it's kind of hard to pick the most patriotic because I saw so many flags, and everybody seems like they're in the spirit for 4th of July. So
It is.
Yeah, I've been a judge a couple of times
Is it hard?
for one category or another, and it is tough.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
I've avoided being a judge just because it's too hard to decide sometimes.
Probably smart. So everything that you do, I think in your words, talk about why you think this is so important to our community. All the things that you do, I think, being part of the community, and let's start with you, Jim.
Well, I built my own business here, as you mentioned when we started, and it has been very, very good to me. The people of Prescott have been very, very good to me in supporting my business. The entire community has been good to me in making me a better person just because of our wholesome environment. And the whole concept of giving something back, meeting a wonderful group of men and women as a social circle for me, and giving even more back along their side is really a special thing.
Well said.
My situation is very similar to Jim. I'm a real estate appraiser, and I have my own business, and the community has been very good to me, supported me well over the years. My wife and I have 4 kids. They were all born and raised in Prescott. They all went to Prescott public schools. They went to Prescott High School and played sports, and we went all through the youth basketball and the soccer and everything. And this town just means the world to me, and it's important to me to give something back to the community. Some people, I think, look to join a service club because they think, well, I'm going to get some business contacts out of it. And you do. But I think for most of us, you come to learn that what you get back just in the feeling of what you've done for the community and the spirit of altruism, that you're doing something for somebody else, is more important than the contacts, the business contacts. But it's social contacts and business contacts and just being in touch with the community. It's being a part of Prescott. Our club's been around, do the math, Jim, when was 1924? It was about 90 years ago, or 90 something
94,
like that.
95 years.
94 years ago. And so, there have been the most prominent members of our community have been members of our Kiwanis Club. Dr. Taylor T. Hicks Sr., and there's a Taylor Hicks Elementary School as well, was a mayor in this town, one of the real driving forces of our club. His father-in-law, going back before that, was one of the founders of the club. Vic Lytle was a mayor of this club. Jim,
we give Vic Lytle credit for coming up with the auction idea, by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
Judge Howard Hinson. I mean, who all?
Yes.
Jim,
Well, all the Barrett family.
All the Barrett families.
The Barrett propane folks. Connie Barrett, and
yeah,
Mal Barrett.
lots of people who have been doctors and lawyers and prominent people in this club, and city officials and government workers. Really part of the history of this community.
I was just thinking that as you were saying that, is like you're a huge piece of the history of this community, and what I love about it is it's really a slice of Americana.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It is.
We
and,
still have that.
It's not the social elite. It's somebody from all social strata, and as we say, all ages, and men and women, and we have a great time. We really have a lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds like a lot of fun. So you have an actual office in Prescott, and that's where that phone number is again.
Yes.
What was that again? The phone number?
445-8700.
8700. So you both have been members for many years, 30 years. That's a long time. So, and you mention all the different people that have belonged, but I think still pointing out that it's for everybody. Anybody who wants to come and join you for lunch at 12:10 on Thursday
At the St. Michael Hotel.
At St. Michael Hotel, come on in and have a listen and figure out what's going on with the Kiwanis Club. But the Kiwanis itself is a nationwide club, right?
International.
It's international. Oh, see, I learned something new. So it started. Where did it start? Do you know?
Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, so it started in the United States.
Yeah, well over 100 years ago, and it's spread. We've got Kiwanis clubs in I don't know how many nations worldwide, but there's clubs in Singapore and Australia and France and.
Do you have like a sister club across the ocean?
I don't believe we do,
No, you don't?
really.
Okay.
Club members, Kiwanis Club members are always invited to interclub with another club, either on an informal or a formal basis. Sometimes you just drop into another club, or we have somebody drop into our club, or if your guest in town is a member of Kiwanis from San Francisco, you bring them in, and it's always welcome.
Do you have like a little notice in the paper or somewhere that if someone comes new to town, how would they find you?
They could find us through the Chamber of
The
Commerce.
Chamber, that's perfect, thank you. So the Chamber, that's a good place to go, and most people do too.
Absolutely.
When they come to a new town, it's like, okay, start at the Chamber of Commerce, figure out what's going on, and we try to keep information there about aging as well. And we try to do intergenerational programs, but we certainly don't help the children of the community as much as you do.
And if folks read the Courier very much at all,
Yeah.
they probably see photographs of us giving a check to another worthy organization quite frequently.
And that's, we all need to help each other.
Absolutely.
It takes a village, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. So you're going to stay with the Kiwanis forever?
Well, I don't have any plans to go anywhere.
Anywhere
I think I've passed the background check by this time.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so? Do
No,
you have do you have a board of directors or?
We
okay.
have a board of directors and a slate of officers, just like
Okay.
most clubs do. And most everybody in the club that's been there a while is invited to be on the board at some time.
Okay.
And you just say, I want to do this. And you know how it is with service clubs. You're just about always looking for somebody to take another step forward. And
Yeah.
our club is really a good example of an organization where everybody participates. We hear about the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the people do 80% of the work. In our club, and especially when it comes to our auction, we have 90% of the people pitching in every year, doing stuff. We even have some former members of the club that come back during auction time to help out just because they want to be
Nice.
a part of the deal. And that's really a
That's
tribute
nice.
to their dedication to the community.
Yeah, it is, and it's with only 80 solid members and everything that you do, they obviously are all working and they're all being
You
a
bet.
part of making our community a better place to live for our kids and for the people who are involved in your club. Because I think it's important for all of us as we retire, like you said, we need to be involved. We need to be participating. We need to have a purpose.
I totally agree. I think especially when people get to that retirement age and all of a sudden the thing that identified them,
Yeah.
whether it was being a real estate appraiser or a veterinarian or a banker or whatever, is kind of taken away from you.
Yeah.
And it's important to keep connected. And I can think of a lot of examples right now of people in our club who got to that stage of life or maybe moved in from wherever they moved from, California, and they say, well, I don't know anybody and I'm not connected, and they join our club, and the next thing you know it, you see them working in this project and that project and having a laugh at the meetings, and it's just a great way to be involved.
Keeps us healthy.
Absolutely.
Keeps us healthy. So before we close, I just want to make sure if you have anything that I have forgotten to ask you, and we'll start with you, Bob.
There's just lots of more things we could tell you about our club. One thing that comes to mind is that among the groups that we give money to is a group of scholarship recipients. And every year
nice.
we've got $20,000 or more that's earmarked for high school seniors who are graduating from all the area local high schools, and they need a jump start on their college education.
Excellent.
And they apply for, and we grant many scholarships each year that amounts to tens of thousands of dollars.
Excellent. Anything from you before we go?
I would just like to again acknowledge the Prescott Media Center. Without our local access television
Yeah.
station,
Oh boy, isn't that
we would
right.
not have our auction,
they
and we
would-
would not have that $180,000 to spend here in the community.
They
So
are
Yes.
great partners in our auction, indispensable.
And we thank them very much for letting us be here today on this show. And thank you, Bob Huck and Jim Tilley.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
Carol.
us.
Thank you so much. And this has been Senior Moments, Successful Aging. I'm Mary Beals-Luedtka. Until next time.